Good morning! Good morning! It is Monday, June 28th. 2021. How are you? How are you doing? How art thou wherever you are, wherever thou art? I hope you're feeling fine. I hope you are able to feel the rainbow arches at all the times and feel the weight of the body on the front of the spine. Remember that the weight-bearing portion of the spine is the front. Welcome back to the Best Feeling Network, your only no-nonsense podcast, where we never get angry, ever again. Good morning, my name is Herbie. I'm your host, and this is Pal Go On. You had a fantastic, an amazing, a stupendous weekend. Did you do anything great on Friday or Saturday or Sunday? Have you been able to feel the weight of the body on the front of the spine and into the rainbow arches at all of the times? And have you been feeling the fronts of your shins? And then remembering that you absolutely do not ever sit on thy legs. No, that is a myth brought about by society and looking at the outside world through our inside world lenses. Looking at the outside world, we might see chairs. You might be sitting in a chair. You might have experienced purchasing a chair or sitting on a chair once before. Maybe in school, maybe at work, maybe in a school bus, a work bus. So we might see things in the outside world and be convinced that that is how they are supposed to be on the inside world. For example, we might see that there is people around sitting on these so-called chairs, and what are they sitting on? It looks like legs. So when we go to sit on a chair so that we can behave like other people, we learn from other people. We might assume we sit on our legs, but in fact we do not sit on our legs. No, our legs jut out of our pelvis bones, as you'll see here on the screen. If you're looking at the screen, if you're not looking at the screen, it's all good. I'll describe it for you anyway. Your legs come out of the hip joints, out from the pelvis bone. The pelvis bone itself has these structures on the bottom that are designed to take the weight from the weight-bearing portion of the spine, which is the front, delivering them, boom, bowing out, and then into these sit bone arches right here. These sit bones, we also call this structure the rainbow arches. And notice how if we're looking at this blue line, we see your weight go from the front of the spine, the weight-bearing portion of the spine, which is the front, into the rainbow arches. Your weight is delivered into a bow, like rainbow arches, into these sit bones. And those sit bones are actually not your legs. Your legs come out from the hip joints a little ways above the sit bones, but are not actually the sit bones. They are free to float. Your legs are free to float. We all float down here. We all float down here. Good morning. I hope you are feeling fantastic this morning. Let's supercharge that morning. Let's supercharge that morning. Wherever you are you in the bus? In space? Or are you on your computer screen? Just typing away at the computer. Are you on Pluto? 5,000 years from the year 2021 on Earth. Or are you chilling at the beach right now? Do you have me in your earphones and you're chilling at the beach? Is it really cold outside or is it really hot? Are you all alone? Are you homesick? Or are you with the family and kind of just wish you'd be anywhere else but here right now? Maybe you're just overloaded right now. Wherever you are, I want to thank you so much for being here. Let's supercharge that morning of yours. Let's get you up. Let's get you up in the best possible way. In the best possible way. We got a whole week ahead of us, guys. Let's get this thing going. It is Monday. Thank God it's Monday. Monday. Or, oh no, it's Monday. How are you feeling? Is it a monstrous Monday? Are you scared of the Mondays? Is it oh no Monday? Or is it oh my gosh, amazing Mondays? If it's a mean Monday for you, I hope that by the time that we're done with this, you come out with an amazing Monday. With a great way to start your week. You supercharge that, going towards whatever your goal might be. Killing it out there. Killing it out there. How do we do that? Never get angry. Let's just invalidate this emotionalism stuff as a whole. How, Herbie? That's crazy talk. We love emotion. Isn't that the point of life? Maybe emotions can happen to you, but maybe we can also, at will, reduce our emotions to something that are much more manageable at any point in time. What if you had that control? Remember back in the day when you didn't think about placing the weight of the body down the front of the spine and into the rainbow arches at all the times? Remember when you used to think that anger was like a thing at all? Remember when you used to think about how remember how you used to think about anger being an issue at all, like something that you should care about at all, instead of this thing that we should totally just invalidate? Totally just invalidate. It doesn't mean that you're not allowed to feel angry, but rather we have a way to get over it, and so let's just be done with it. Let's place the weight of the body on the front of the spine into the rainbow arches at all the times. No, let's just recognize. Maybe we can just recognize this Monday that we're having. Maybe we can just recognize that anger happens. That anger happens, but we should not validate it, but rather actually see it as the enemy, something that we all can agree on, that we all get. Or at least at some point in the human experience. We're very used to it have been being a normal part of life. This anger thing. Remember back in the day? Remember back in the day when we thought that it was still a thing to just be angry instead of just seeing it as the always bad. It is the ever enemy, is it not? This anger thing. So long as there is anger involved, it becomes personal. It's no longer about the thing at hand, but rather about appeasing this person who is angry, or satiating them, or helping you if you are angry, or resolving that, but no longer about the thing. How do you get what you want in life? Never get angry, as anger gets you pretty much the opposite. So how do you never get angry? Why is it that we've never asked this before? Everyone's like, well, Herbie, we never thought about that. The first podcast in 3D. They'd be like, oh yeah, how come we didn't think about that? No anger. Wow, why didn't we think about that? Well, in the past, there was never really a way to communicate how to get over this anger thing, but we got a few ways. We got a new way to look at the life that we have. We got this no anger thing. It's an entire way to look at life, really. It's an entire way to look at the world. Imagine a world where the anger itself is the enemy. Just imagine. Let's imagine together a world where anger is the enemy, meaning where you see anger, you see issues, you see dishonesty, you see something that you see an area that can be improved. You see somewhere where there leaves more to be discovered. This world that we're living in today, what's so crazy about this world? Well, they look at anger as if it's like a valid thing instead of just seeing it as like, okay, that's like evidence that we should go in that direction. Look over there. If I'm angry in my life, okay, well, maybe there's something I need to resolve. Maybe there is some conflict in my life that is preventing me from feeling the inside of my body in a harmonious way. Because what is anger? What even is anger? Is it not a physical feeling? Is it not a physical thing? This anger thing. This anger thing, is it not a physical thing? So, if you could feel better in life by doing a curl, bicep curl, does that make you feel happier? Makes you feel relieved, right? Makes you use energy in a way that might relieve your stress. Is that not true? If you do a bicep curl, what are we saying by that? Anger is physical, right? An emotion. It's a physical thing. What if we had control over our emotions in the way that we wanted to? What if there was a way to batten down the hatches in an intentional way? Not just by doing yoga. Not just by doing yoga. Yoga. You could say downward dog in yoga, but everyone has their own way of doing it. Yeah, you can see from the outside that they are perhaps achieving that same angle of their legs that is, it looks like someone else's, right? But where we consider a shoulder and where we consider a hip joint, everybody points to a different area on their body. And in today's culture, they'll have you believe that that's an okay thing. That, okay, yeah, that's all right. That it's a completely different area. Just try the move anyway. But it might be dangerous. We might actually be hurting ourselves this way, right? We might not actually be doing the same thing on the inside, though it might look the same on the outside. And that runs a risk of actually spending time, energy, and contorting our bodies into ways in which we think is actually similar to what they're trying to describe, like this yoga instructor, right? There's a danger in, like, you spend all this time thinking that you actually are doing it right, and not only are you maybe doing it wrong, because your inside coordinations might be ever so slightly different, which is a huge importance when you have nerves and discs and vertebrae all so close together, and hundreds of them, right? Thousands of them if you consider the relationship between them. So you have all these areas where your body actually might not be doing the same thing, although you might think so, as your yoga instructor. And so you run the risk of spending all that time actually maybe tricking your body into thinking that you're actually doing the right thing, when in actuality you're doing something totally different and getting totally different internal results. You're not feeling better. You're like, why aren't I feeling better? It looks like I'm doing all the same moves, right? So why aren't I feeling better? There's a big risk of not having our body map integrated with one another. If your inability to feel the front of your weight of the body on the front of the spine and into the rainbow arches at all times is way too pronounced, if your inability to feel that is too pronounced, you will have a hard time getting the breath that you want. You will have a hard time feeling better. You will have a harder time not being angry throughout life, especially you're going to do some things like yoga and you're like, wow, how come when they do it, it looks so graceful? How come when they do it, it looks like they feel so great when they do it, but me, I'm sweating, I feel like crap afterwards. I'm all self-conscious about myself. Well, you know, well, there may be conflicts because our inside world might not be reflecting the outside world, right? Like the angle of our leg when we're doing this pose along with this yoga instructor might be very similar. And we're like struggling because it's like, wow, it looks exactly the same. But because of the holistic nature of our whole body, right? It's all connected and interwoven, and there's all these mini coordinations and like subtleties in the body where like you have to place the weight is supposed to go here and such like that. When you do that, it like loosens up your hip joint so that you can properly relax your legs so that it can get that bend that you want or whatever it is. All these micro things that like that we actually stray further and further away from, should we be more and more okay with just like, all right, everybody has their own body. It's like, yes, it's true that everybody has their own coordination up to that point, but design is still the same. So there's some greatness to be shoveled out of this. There's some absolute greatness to be extracted from all this knowledge. What if you could feel better all the time? What if you could feel better at will? What if you could copy that yoga instructor and get that great feeling that you know that they're professing about? How do we get there? And isn't it great to feel not angry? Shouldn't we never be angry? As you are listening to that yoga instructor, it might get you angry. And what is anger if not for a feeling thing? More than a feeling. So we're gonna get hosted by Herbie Like. Thank you so much, Herbie Like. I can read the future. I can see the future, guys. It's just like... Alright. The host is there. Thank you so much. How do we never get angry? Like, what is that even possible? Oops, is that even possible? And never get angry. It's such a funny thing that, like, on this Monday morning, on this June 28th, 2021, isn't it funny how in the past, anger is just something that we're like, you're just always told, like, it's just kind of never taken seriously when someone asks you to stop being angry, right? Hey, stop being angry. Stop being angry. And how successful has that been in your life when you've ever tried to tell anybody to stop being angry? Right? Stop being angry. It's almost insulting when you think about it. Right? Stop being angry. But I do want to ask you to stop being angry. Why? Not just for the sake of me, right? People are always telling you, like, hey, stop being angry. And there's like a part of you that can take that very personally, right? It's like, wow, I'm aggressing on you right now. I'm aggressing on you right now, really? It's almost insulting when someone tells you to stop being angry. Is that not true? Maybe it was because there was no way to communicate an actionable way to help you go about doing that. Never get angry. Stop being angry. Maybe because at the time, there was no actionable way to actually help someone achieve this. Never get angry. Stop getting angry. Hey, stop getting angry. I want you to get what you want. So if you want to get what you want, usually in life, it's just always best to not get angry. Why is that? I mean, for all the reasons we already know. But more importantly, how do we go about that? What is even anger? What even is anger? We must find the enemy and destroy the enemy. Hope you're feeling amazing this Monday, but what even is anger? It's a feeling, right? Do you get angry when you feel amazing? Or do you just get excited? When you feel amazing, do you feel like you can maybe conquer all? When you feel amazing, do you feel maybe that you can conquer all? And when you feel amazing, are you ever angry? Can you be angry when you feel amazing? Is anger not a feeling thing? As you're placing the weight of the body down the front of the spine and into the rainbow arches at all of the times on your only no-nonsense podcast, your no-nonsense network, best feeling podcast. Never get angry. I want you to get what you want in life. So never get angry. Maybe it was insulting before, but these days, it's a little bit easier. We understand a little bit more. These days, we're always so happy that we understand so much more. We live in an age where we're just a different species than human beings that were once in the past. As you're waking up this morning and stretching your bones, you're shaking your tail feather to get ready in the morning, as you are brushing your teeth, as you are gargling that water, as you are allowing yourself to place the weight of the body down to the front of the spine and allowing your weight to be divided into those rainbow arches and into the sit bones at all the times. And remembering that to feel the front of thy shins. And then remember that you do not sit on your legs. You do not sit on your legs. Never get angry. Next time you get angry, remind yourself to not sit on your legs. Next time you get angry, remember to feel the weight of the body down the front of the spine and into the rainbow arches at all times. What is anger if not a feeling? If you could feel great all the time, would you ever get angry? If you could choose to feel great all the time, what if you could choose to feel great? What if you could choose to feel great all the time? Wouldn't you do that all the time? Really though, wouldn't you do that all the time? If you could, wouldn't you do that all the time? There's this thing with the free will thing, right? People ask you like, do you have free will? That's what it is. It's like, that's a good point. Well, does it give you any clue when you think about how if you feel great, you do great? What if you could feel as good as you wanted at any point in time? Wouldn't you always choose that? Maybe that has something to do with this free will thing. If you could choose to feel great, wouldn't you always choose to feel great? We know so much in this world. Our society is so amazing. Humans are amazing. You are amazing. Look at this godlike creature in you. Look at you looking in the mirror. Look at you looking at your hands right now. Or look at you just like tapping your foot on the floor. Look at you sitting in bed. Able to breathe while listening, while looking at the ceiling at the same time. Look at you, amazing being, doing a billion things all at once while your heart's beating and all this kind of stuff. You're experiencing, you're remembering, you're putting pieces together, you're doing all these great things together. Look at you. You fantastic being, you. I can't even believe that you're amazing. I can't even believe that you're just like this. You're sitting here just this amazing. You just exist and you're just amazing. Isn't that awesome? Look at it, so personal though. Look at you, you amazing thing. With all of our technology today and all of our information that we have packed into our brains, we're basically different species than what we were even like 200 years ago. We're like a different species with everything we know about ourselves. And of course, all of the technology that we have integrated into our lives. It makes us like a new species. You can go on your phone. How are you even listening to me? You're listening to me on a phone probably, or a computer. On this Monday, June 28th, 2021. Are you in the future right now? Are you some kind of time traveler? Or are you here with us right now and some kind of space traveler? In which you are joining me from anywhere in the world. Feeling your rainbow arches anywhere in the world. This technology, we're like different species, you beautiful creature, you, as you wake up. As you place your weight of the body down the front of the spine and into the rainbow arches at all the times. Your design is so intense. The fact that you can place your weight of the body there and it just changes your entire sense of self, right? Your sense of self always changing, always ever moving. What do we have in common with the past? Our design. Isn't it crazy that 2,000 years ago, if not more, there were beings that had this exact same design, had trouble feeling the front of their spine if they were placing weight into these tailbone right here. Isn't that nuts that they had the same design? Meaning that if something excited them and moved their body and coordinated their body in such a way where their weight of the body would be placed onto the weight-bearing portion of the spine, which is the front, and then into these rainbow arches, that they would get the same feeling that you're feeling right now. Isn't that nuts? It's like the Avatar. It's just feelings from thousands of years in the past, shot straight through you through design. Through design, you can feel the same thing that they felt all of the times. Remember that you do not sit on your legs? Isn't that nuts? What if you had a way to feel better at any point in time? As I keep saying, with us being these technological beings, we're just such a different species, right? We have the ability to research and create like gods in a way. Isn't that true? Doesn't it feel like we're like gods in such a way, right? We're starting to get to that point where they're talking, if they haven't already, they're talking about cloning or making entirely new life without the traditional form of procreation of human beings, using the penis into the vagina and seminal fluids. Gross. Get off my show. A little shock value in the morning never hurt nobody. So we have all this technology. We're like gods, right? You're like a godlike creature as you're placing away the body in front of the spine. What are we going to use all that power for? If not to feel happy, if not to feel great, if not to feel good in this experience that we have, what is the point of all of it? What is the point of all of it if not to feel good, if not to focus on our design to help us feel good by placing the weight of the body on the front of the spine and into the rainbow arches at all of the times? What is this technology being used for? What is our new power being used for? What is this species here to do? What are you here to do? You beautiful godlike creature, you. What are you here to do? Feel great. Why? Why are you just here to feel great? Because when you feel great, don't you do great? When you feel great, don't you feel great? Don't you do great? When you feel great, don't you do great? Say it with me. When you feel great, don't you do great? Say it with me. When you feel great, don't you do great? One more time. Say it with me. When you feel great, don't you do great? When you feel great, don't you do great? As in, never get angry. As in, what if you could never get angry ever again? What if you could choose to not get angry? What if you could choose to not get angry? What if we could look at this anger thing? What if we could look at this anger thing and finally triangulate what exactly this anger thing is? And then maybe reverse engineer it and never get angry again. What is this anger stuff? It's a feeling. It is a feeling. It is an emotion. It is a feeling. Well, how could you always be happy? You can't always be happy. Because you can't always be angry either, so you can't always be happy. You can't always be confused, so you can't always be happy. Every emotion is finite. So what do you mean, Herbie? You can't just never be angry. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad. Right? What are you talking about, Herbie? You can't just like choose to never be angry, because like then you would just say that you could like just always, you would be happy more often, and then you can't always be one emotion because emotions themselves are ever fleeting. Right, Herbie? What if I said invalidate all the emotions? What if I said from every emotion, you can always regulate back to neutral? What if I said that? What if you had the power? What if you could always feel great at will? What if you always could feel great in your body at will? What if you could feel better all the time at will? What if you could always feel better? What if it was just that easy? As easy as what? Well, as one, recognizing that anger is one. First, what did we just say earlier? We said that anger is an emotion. It's a feeling, right? Anger is just a feeling, right? Anger is just a feeling, right? Anger is just a feeling, so what if you could just feel better all the time? What if you had the power? What if you had the superpower within you to shift your awareness anywhere you want to feel better at all the times, anytime, wherever you want to, at all the times? Anger is just an emotion. It's just a feeling, right? What if you could regulate your body's emotions from all emotions, not even just anger, confusion even happiness? Because sometimes that can be something in the way when you're trying to be serious, right? In a class or whatever, you're trying to be serious in a moment. What if you could, not that you would ever want to down your happy too often, but rather, what if you would like to cleanse your palate so that you could see this new moment for what it is? What if you could feel regulated at will, and you didn't have to do some downward dog thing? What if you could do all of that without having to do some downward dog thing? You didn't have to go to a yoga class. You didn't have to go to blah blah blah. You didn't have to pay money unless you wanted to, unless you wanted to get the supercharged or the premium versions. By that time, maybe you're just rolling in it, because by that time you're like, wow, I never got angry again. That's crazy. That's freaking crazy. As you're feeling the weight of the body down the front of the spine and into the rainbow arches at all of the times. What if you could never get angry? What if you could choose to just simply not get angry? What if you could choose to simply have control over your emotions in the same way that you could just coordinate yourself to do a bicep curl or a push-up or a pull-up, or even to just grab a drink of water? Have you ever been coordinated enough to be able to grab yourself a drink of water? Well, have I got good news for you about your anger. About your body feeling amazing. About your body feeling amazing. Does your body thank you when you say, my place to the body down the front of my spine and into the rainbow arches all the time? And you ask yourself, Mom, I'm getting angry. Am I feeling the front of my shins? Oh, I'm getting angry. Am I remembering that I don't sit on my legs? Does your body thank you for that? Maybe your body thanks you for that. What are some benefits of never getting angry? Pretty much everything you've ever wanted, you get. That's what you're gonna get. You want to communicate with your partner, never get angry. Want that great relationship, never get angry. You will get what you want. You know why? You will see the situation with your eyes and you will just handle it. You will do. Should you not get angry, there is no fear. Maybe it's not that you don't get angry so you have no fear, but rather these are all one and the same. More like you can just look at them and decide for yourself if you're on the right track by saying, hey, I have no anger, which means I have no fear, because I would only have anger if I had fear. They go one in hand, one in one, they go hand in hand, do they not? I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. They go hand in hand, do they not? I want to hear from you. As you're allowing these words to pass in through one ear and then out the other, maybe from the right ear to the left ear, or maybe let these words pass from the left ear and right on through to the right ear. How does that feel? As you're balancing your head onto the front of the spine. We live in a world right now where they act. This entire world is going upside down because they even look at anger. Because they even look at anger as this thing that should be respected and or used as some kind of argument, as opposed to just muscle spasms or muscle cramps. Like, you don't get upset with somebody having a muscle spasm. You don't get upset with somebody. You don't make policies based on people getting a stomach ache. However, that's basically what anger is a big giant stomach ache. Your body's inability to place the weight of the body into the places that it needs to allow the discomfort to be channeled through the proper areas of the weight-bearing portions of the spine, which are bereft of nerve endings. And really organizing all of that discomfort into one area so that it could be delivered through and out of the body. We live in an entire world right now where anger itself is seen as something that can be used to decide to make decisions, as opposed to something that is the opposite, as what it is. The complete antithesis to all of your problems. Or rather, the antithesis to all of your solutions, rather. This anger thing. We still live in a world right now where anger itself is seen as something that we should validate. The anger itself should be excised out through the body. What if we had a way to feel better all the time? What if you had a way to feel better intentionally? At will. It is Monday, so what I wanted to do before we go is introduce you to a new body map. Maybe in the beginning of the weeks we'll do these new body maps. That way we can do one a week. Or just have you thinking about it through the week and we can come back and refresh our memory on this one. Now what is that? Today, I want you to think about suspending your crown. You know what the crown is? The crown. You know what a crown is? The crown is like the top of your head. I want you to think about suspending the crown. The very top of your crown, the very top of your head. I want you to think about, imagine your crown being suspended gently by a thread. Just a single thread atop your crown. And how does that feel? Are you able to feel that? Is there an extension in your neck? As you're thinking about suspending the crown gently by a thread. Are you able to feel that? And how does that feel as you're suspending the crown gently by a thread? I want you to think about placing the weight of the body down the front of the spine and into the rainbow arches at all times. And feel the front of the shins, as remember you do not sit on your legs. Suspend the crown gently by a thread. Here on the Best Feeling Podcast, Pow Go On. We'll take a short break. Will you please suspend the crown gently by a thread, my friend? Feel the rainbow arches. Suspend the crown gently by a thread, and one more time, feel the rainbow arches. We'll be right back. Using our sense of the world to make sense of the world. Moving towards world peace through individual strength. Welcome back to Pow Go On. I hope you've been able to feel the weight of the body down the front of the spine and into the rainbow arches at all of the times. And then feel the fronts of the shins and remember that you do not sit on your legs. Today, and on this Monday, June 28, 2021, Earth, United States, or wherever you are, wherever thou art, as we are going through the airwaves, all the way to wherever you are. And today, on this Monday, I hope you're able to suspend the crown gently by a thread. I hope you are able to ask yourself, am I able to feel some kind of resistance with my head? Do I feel some kind of subtle muscular shifts in my neck, or maybe in my ribs, or even down all the way to my toes? Are there any subtle muscular shifts in my body? In my body's sense of self, are there any shifts? When I simply imagine or perceive my head being suspended gently by a thread, the middle of it, the crown. Suspend the crown gently by a thread. Suspending the crown gently by a thread as I'm remembering that I do not sit on my legs. How does that feel for you? How does it feel for you? Remembering that you do not sit on your legs and you need to suspend the crown gently by a thread. Has that been easy for you? Do you notice any shifts in your back maybe? Maybe in your lower back or upper back? As you're feeling the front of the shins. And remembering that you do not. Absolutely. Do not sit on your legs. Do not sit on your legs. Do you notice any subtle sense of self shifts in your body as you are perceiving that your crown is being gently suspended by a thread? Why might this be a thing? To help you not get angry, first of all. What if you could never get angry? But why might it be a thing? Well, imagine all the different subtle muscular shifts, balancial shifts your body would need to do in order to compensate or to deal with a string suspending your crown gently by a thread. And how does that feel? Does your body shift around? It's totally okay if it does. It's totally okay if it does. What we are hunting is your ability to feel great. What we are hunting is your ability to never get angry. What we are hunting is your ability to regulate at any point in time in a way that's even better than in a way that's better than any feeling, because it's always within you, inside you, on this meditation Monday, this amazing Monday, whatever we're gonna call it. Morning Monday. Hopefully by the end it is an amazing Monday. As you're placing the weight of the body down the front of the spine and into the rainbow arches. At all the times. Feel on the front of your shins. And remember that you do not sit on your legs. As you suspend the crown gently by a thread. And remember, you just allow all of my words to go in one ear and then out the other. In one ear and out the other. What if anger itself was seen as something that we could do something about? What if anger itself wasn't seen as this wildfire of uncontrollable force that we must obey? What if it wasn't this force that we needed to obey? This anger thing, right? What if it wasn't a force that we needed to obey, but rather something we could deal with and we could expect everybody to deal with? Would that be a different world? Wouldn't that be a different world? What if we could expect everybody to not get angry? What if we could help people from the inside out not get angry? What if we could help people from the inside out feel amazing and never get angry again? What if we could help people from the inside out never get angry again? Would that be a different world? Would we see change in the world? Is there so much in the world right now due to the fact that we see anger as this thing that is just in some indomitable force, something that we can't do anything about? What if they listened to the Pow Go On podcast instead and then actually learned how to never be angry again, and so we could see the world shift for good? What if they listened to Pow Go On and felt great at will and had no excuse to not feel great and could expect other people to do the same while also helping them to do the same? What if they watched it? What if they listened to the Pow Go On podcast and knew that? What if? What if we could explain to each other calmly exactly the issues that we have with one another without being at each other's throats, and even without even having to respect this anger thing? Why do we even have to respect this anger thing right now? Well, because people feel like they can't do anything about it, this anger thing. Why do we have to respect this anger thing? Why do we have to respect this emotion thing? Well, because we see emotion as this thing that we are victim to something that we cannot do anything about. But what if we just turn around and we're able to actually do something about it? Right now, we gotta respect this anger thing. You gotta right now in the world. We must respect emotion and anger and feelings, but why? Because we feel that we can't do anything about those, right? If we felt like we could control these feelings, these emotions, if we felt that we could get into a good feeling at any time, and if we felt like ruining someone's mood wasn't irreparable, if we felt like people could achieve a good feeling and have happy emotions at will, at all times, would we feel the need to defend people's emotions so much? Don't we just feel victim to emotions? Don't we just feel victim to these feelings? Isn't that the truth? Isn't that why we feel like we cannot, or why we should defend them? Isn't that true that we feel victimized by these feelings? We want to feel the best feelings, but we don't actually feel that we can get the best feelings, or that people can manifest the best feelings whenever they want, right? There are limitations to life. There are boundaries. People can't just feel good all of a sudden. So in fact, it's more like you're a victim to these feelings because everyone wants the best one, but you can't just snap your fingers and have the best feelings. You can't just snap your fingers and feel great about life. But what if you could? What if the feelings part wasn't the factor? What if you can place your weight of the body down the front of the spine and it's rainbow arches at all times? Don't we see feelings as something we're victim to because we feel like we can't do anything about them? But what if we could do something about them? We feel victimized by these feelings things because we don't feel like we can do anything about them. But what if we could do something about them? Immediately, all the times. What if we actually did have a weapon against these? What if we were actually okay? What if we were able to actually have complete control over this? Again, I say that we feel victimized by these feelings things, and we feel the need to defend the feelings of ourselves and other people. Because we don't feel confident that we can have control over this thing. But what if we could have control over this thing? What if it wasn't something unwieldy, but something that you had complete control over? It doesn't mean that emotions wouldn't happen to you. It doesn't mean that you would not have good feelings, but what if you were able to regulate when you needed to? What if that wasn't out of reach? What if it could be expected that you could do it? What if we could teach about it? What if we could teach our kids about it? What if we could teach each other about it? What if we could help each other immediately? What if we could help each other immediately do it? Feel better. Simply by saying, hey, are you placing the weight of the body on the front of the spine and into the rainbow arches at all of the times? What if we could do that? What if we could help people from the inside out and it wasn't a mystery? What if it wasn't some kind of mysterious thing, some magic, some voodoo of just, I wish you feel better? But what if we had an actionable way of helping people feel better from the inside out? What if we could help people not be victim to these emotions? What if we had language to deal with these inside world emotions in an actionable way, in a relatable way, in a teachable way, a measurable way? We feel victimized by these emotions, and we feel the need to help other people get amazing ones because we know in our current world, we know that we can't, we know that we don't have the best feelings all the time. We feel victimized by these feelings thing in our current world because we all want to feel the best at all the times, and then when we feel the best, we also feel guilty that other people are not feeling it. So we feel victimized by this feelings thing in life because we recognize that we all want as much of the good feelings as you want, but we feel victimized by the feelings because we don't feel like we can actually manifest these feelings from the inside out, but rather they have to be given to us by things on the outside world. By things, by other people, money, feelings that were given to us by other people. Like they're touching us or emotionally or whatever. It's just outside world, right? Things that happen to you, absent of what you are doing to yourself and the world. So we feel victimized by these feelings thing because it's just like the world is happening to you. And we don't feel like we have control over these emotions, so we feel victimized by the emotions because then your emotions are dictated by whatever is around you, the world happening to you, your surroundings. So you don't really get to choose that because you were just born where you were born. So we feel like victimized. We feel like the feelings happen to you in this world, right? In this world, we feel like that the feelings happen to you. The world happens to you, and the feelings are a reaction to the world, and the world is happening to you. So we feel victimized by it because you can't choose where you are at. Most of the time, you just, oh, here I am, and then you just work your way through there, but you're always where you are. Wherever you go, there you are, right? So your feelings in this world right now, the feelings are dictated by what's around you. All around you. Your feelings are dictated all around from just what's happening all around you. No wonder we feel victimized by these feeling things. But what if you had control over these feelings things? What if you happened to the feelings and not the world happening to your feelings? What if the world wasn't happening to you, but you were happening to the world? What if you had control over those feelings? We feel victimized by these feelings because we feel like we don't have control over them, and then the world creates them within us. The world creates all these feelings to us, and then we can't do anything about once these emotions get into us. We can't do anything about it. They just stick with you. But what if you could? What if you could make every new moment new? How? Because the front of your spine into the rainbow arches is here and now. What if you had no room to think about all that stuff? Because you were thinking about placing the weight of the body down the front of the spine and into the rainbow arches at all the times. What if you could feel better? What if you could take control? What if you could deal with those emotions? What if you could purge them or revel in them? Or what if you had control over which emotions you are feeling? What about just the same way that you would shift your awareness as you place the weight of the body down the front of the spine and into the rainbow arches at all of the times, and feeling the front of the shins? And then remember that you do not sit on your legs. And then today, and this week, I want you to think about suspending the crown gently by a thread. Just ever so slightly by a thread. And then maybe just take note of how your sense of self feels. Does it shift around? Is it uncomfortable? If it's uncomfortable, go ahead and stop, take a break, and walk around if you need. Make sure you value your comfort. Never get angry. What if you had control over that? You know? What if you had complete control over your emotions? What kind of world would we be living in today? What if it's not just something that you had control over, but what if you could expect people to have control over it? And what if you had language? What if we had language and continued to develop such a juicy, sweet, sweet, sweet language about how to reduce that anger at will, how to feel great at will? What if you could feel great at will? And what if we could teach that to everybody else and help them from the inside out? Achieving world peace through individual strength. Using our sense of the world to make sense of the world. An only no nonsense podcast on your best feeling network. I'm your host Herbie, and this is Padawan. Rise and shine, rise and shine. It is Monday, June 28, 2021. I want to thank you so much for joining me. Rise and shine on Pal Go On. Never get angry again. What if we had control over all this anger stuff? We felt so victimized about it in the past. Remember how victimized we felt by this in the past, that feelings just happened to us? But we have to live in a new era now. What about this stuff right here where we can just control our emotions? What if we could just regulate ourselves at all times? What if we could feel great anytime you want? What if you could feel as best as you could anytime you want? I'm Pal Go On. We'll see you tomorrow.